crazy Facebook friends talk about Antifa all the time. You would think that Antifa for them, I feel like, is quicksand for me as a little kid. Like I thought this was a problem I would be dealing with all the time. I needed to be able to identify quicksand and tell it from regular sand lest I fall in. And
the amount of movies that quicksand used to be in,
cartoons
and television shows, not just cartoons, but like TV shows also, and the idea of like, you know, you learn like don't wiggle too much. You have to slowly. Someone has to put in a rope. And then you slowly lift yourself out. Like, did that go away?
I was watching Blazing Saddles with a girl the other night. She'd never seen it, and they got to the quicksand part, and she's like, "You ever afraid of quicksand?" I'm like, "It doesn't exist."
No, it does.
It doesn't exist.
Quicksand. Yeah, it does.
It does exist.
I've literally fallen in quicksand.
It's not Jumanji quicksand.
Because
that's what scared me, and it was Jumanji. Remember? Or no, maybe it was
Princess Bride.
Like live. It was the live action Jungle Book, where he's running through. It's like decades old, and the guy's like running from some animal, and he falls in quicksand, and like you see like his final gas is like, like he gurgles up, scared the shit out of him. Turns out no quicksand in the Midwest, so I'm safe.
Yeah,
there's quicksand at the beach. Someone died in Wildwood, New Jersey. I think I was just reading about it this year, and it happened to me. I was like, call me 17, and I'm walking home on the beach with my surfboard. This is something I did like every day and never had a problem. Never thought twice of it. And then one time I was walking, and suddenly the next step I fell in waist-deep sand. Totally shocked. But it wasn't a big deal. I had my surfboard there, so I like put it down as a platform, climbed out, and walked the rest of the way home. But I was a little shook by the whole situation because I fell in quicksand, something I didn't think happened to people.
That's pretty scary. If you didn't have your board, do you think you would have been in deep trouble?
Possibly.
Or because it's not that deep, like actual quicksand, right? Like you wouldn't have gone all the way under.
I don't.
I stopped at the waist because I had my board there, and that's like as far as I fell. Like the board hit the ground, and it was like something you could grab onto. I don't know, like what scenario causes it. It was a stormy day, and the water went higher than it normally does. I have in my head that it got up to like looser sand or something, and just made it fluid like that.
I'm reading through this, by the way, and this is like a really good point. That I'm reading this article about like how quicksand has kind of disappeared from movies.
Right.
It's really interesting that like, okay, tying victims to railroad tracks used to be huge. And then, but all the while from the very beginning, planting a bomb with a limited amount of time, that's still a thing. Yeah. Like these are like the villain tropes that like some of them come and go. And so, yeah, they're like saying like what there used to be, and it looks like it's just, you know, it's just not common anymore.
So it is a thing.
No, I don't.
It says it's a colloid hydrogel consisting of fine granular materials such as sand, silt, or clay, and water. Quicksand forms in saturated loose sand when the sand is suddenly agitated. When water and the sand cannot escape, it creates a liquefied soil that loses strength and cannot support weight.
Sounds like liberal propaganda to me.
Yeah, and it says here, if excessive water flows through the sand, it forces the sand particle apart, which is ties into it was a good wave day. Like it was better than average, and it was almost dark out. Like because it was good, I stayed till the end of the night. You know, surfed as long as I could.
Apparently, there's a forum. There's like a whole web community of quicksand enthusiasts.
What are they excited about? I found a great spot.
Yeah.
Took the kids.
They need a new president every year.
Yeah, they just get too overconfident. Yeah. I'm telling you, I've got the technique down. I'm going to call it the Smith technique. It's like, no, these